Hello and welcome to your yoga practice. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ben Oliveri. If you have practiced with me before, you know that I'm very big believer in yin yoga and the effects and benefits of a yin yoga practice. So that's what this class will be. It's a 20-minute-ish yin yoga class that targets low back, just creating space in the low back relief. So most of these poses will be, or all of them will be lower to the floor, passive, longer held. We'll work into a little bit into the outer hips, and then we'll move the spine in all directions. We'll forward bend, side bend, back bend, and do a little twisting as well. So you can go ahead and start in a comfortable seat. That might look like how I'm sitting in cross-legged. You might sit on your shins in hero's pose. And we'll just start with a minute of the breath. So if it feels all right for you, you can start to float the eyes closed. You might just keep a soft gaze. Either one works. And just start to notice your breathing without trying to change it at all. Feeling the abdomen expand, your rib cage expand as you breathe in, deep breath. Feeling the shoulders relax away from the ears as you breathe out. And then just about 5 more breaths like that on your own. Letting low belly expand as opposed to sucking in the belly as you inhale. Feel that expansion out. And with the exhale, is trying to relax the jaw, muscles around the face. And a couple more full breaths. And if you're on your shins and heroes, go ahead and find a cross-legged position. Cross your right shin in front of your left. So if you take this seat and the knees are up very high, you could place blocks underneath your outer thighs if you have them. If you don't have props, books could work too. Either way, right shin in front of the left. Starting to hinge at your hips, tipping your weight forward. And then options, right? Just where you meet resistance, they're in a stretch in the outer hip. That might be up here. You might walk the hands out a little further to get there. Or if it's in your practice, you might even come down to the forearms. So yin yoga, we hold the poses for a little bit longer, anywhere between 2 and 7 minutes. Of course, this is a 20-ish minute class, so we won't have any super long holds. As you find your way into this fold, as you find the variation that works for you, when you find that, try to find some stillness in the body. Soften the jaw, let there be a little space between the upper and lower rows of teeth. Relax the muscles around the eyelids, temples, and try to keep those same deep breaths as we started with. You might be feeling this more in the outer hip, maybe more in the low back. Either one, totally fine. Bringing awareness to where you're feeling sensation and breathing into it. And then 30 more seconds here. Again, same breaths. Abdomen expands towards your thighs as you breathe in. And just use the exhales to soften wherever you can. And after your next full breath, very slow through the transitions in yin, start to make your way up. Lean back so you can switch the crossing of your legs. So left in front of right this time. set up. So that, again, that might mean blocks underneath your outer thighs. Find a little length in the spine. Take an inhale. And with your exhale, folding forward. Maybe you come to the palms, maybe forearms. Whatever's resting on the earth, whether it's palms or forearms, just try to let them be like paperweights. No engagement of the muscles so the shoulders can soften. Okay, so this is a stretch for the outer hips and for the low back. So we want to feel sensation in those areas. But the rest of the body, we want to just totally let go. And as we hold these poses for a little bit longer, we start to work into the connective tissue, our fascia that holds all the muscles together. And the less you do with the body, the more you're going to get out of a yin practice. So very unique practice. You're using these postures to just slow everything down, body and mind. And I was just resolving to find stillness and letting the breath and the stillness do the work here. We have one more minute. And you might play with letting the head hang if that works for your neck. If not, all good. And after your next full breath, one vertebra at a time, start to make your way up. Okay, then next will be a side bend. So you could do this from cross-legged. Again, if you like to find heroes, kneeling down. If you like that variation better, that works fine for this side bend. Place your left hand off to your side. Sweep your right arm up. And then slowly coming over to your left side, bicep roughly over the ear towards it. And reaching through the fingertips. When we reach through the fingertips, we create some space in between the ribs and get that nice side body stretch. And we'll just be here for a minute total. So noticing in this side bend, whether you're in heroes or cross-legged, if the right knee or hip is coming off the ground, we want to keep that pretty rooted and reach through the fingertips. So we get that space in between the ribs. And just a little spiral the rib cage open. And 2 more full breaths here. Slowly make your way up through center. Just take a little pause in between sides. Let your wrist drape over your knees. And just notice what you feel in that right side of the low back. Maybe the outer hip and obliques a little bit as well. And just take a couple cleansing breaths. Same thing on the other side. Right hand comes down, left arm comes up. With your exhale, find your side bend. So I like to put a soft bend in my right elbow in this pose. If you do that and you find that the left hip lifts up, better to have the arm straight. But sometimes it helps to just relax the shoulder a little bit if you have that little bend in the elbow. And again, just noticing a lot of times that left shoulder is going to want to roll down. Little opening through the rib cage and a reach through the fingertips. And then just wherever works to look for your neck, right? You might look more down towards your right knee. Maybe it feels good to look more towards the left and up. Some people even like to just rest the head in the left hand, still get a nice side body stretch, and it supports the neck a little bit. 10 more seconds here. Ooh, slowly making your way up through center. Go ahead and extend your legs out long after having them bent for a little while. Now you just take a little shake of the knees, maybe a point and flex of the feet. Okay, then you'll make your way down onto your back. And I'll finish with a couple reclined poses. First will be a spinal twist. Come on your back. Just a really good yoga pose. You're gonna shift your hips a little bit to the right and let your knees sway over to the left. You might have your arms out in a T. Some people like to rest their left hand on the right knee just to weigh it down a little bit. Again, if the knees don't want to come down, use props. If you don't have yoga props, use a pillow, bolster, something like that underneath that left knee. You can stay looking up or you can gaze past your right fingertips, and we'll take 2 minutes here. And a really good pose to just feel the breath. I like to imagine these spinal twists that none of my muscles are moving, none of the body is moving, just the abdomen as I breathe in and out. So the upper back, especially that right shoulder blade, relaxes towards the earth. And then just gently stretching the low back muscles around the spine, and using your breath to get the most out of that stretch. Allowing your exhales to complete, really good thing to do for the nervous system. So take a few more breaths, let those out breaths complete on their own. And slowly bring your knees back through center, center your hips. Hips off just a touch to the left, and knees over to the right for the other side. Yeah, whatever works for your neck. You might look up, leave the head neutral, neck muscles soft. You might add a little bit of a neck stretch, gazing past your left fingertips, if that feels okay for you. So a practice of simplicity really in yoga. Just keeping it simple, a little bit of a spinal twist, noticing the breath, trying to keep the body still. Just allowing the breath and the stillness to do the work, slow things down in the mind a little bit, give the muscles, the fascia time to soften. And a few more full breaths. You might invite in some open mouth exhales. And just letting those exhales go. And slowly make your way back through center. Again, center your hips. Take a little pause here. Feel the effects on your low back. Then coming into happy baby, soles of the feet go up, knees are bent. Hold on to either the shins, ankles, or outer edges of the feet, whatever's there for you. If you came to this class because maybe the low back was a little tight and some pain, you might take a little rock side to side to massage your lower back in this happy baby. Sometimes it feels really good to pause on one side as you take these little rocks back and forth. And just kind of let the floor and your mat press into the low back. A lot of the times, if the hamstrings are tighter, that causes the low back to tighten up. So a hamstring opening is always very valuable also for low back relief. Just taking a few more breaths here. And then gently release that, slowly bringing the feet down. And soles of the feet come together. Knees open wide. We'll finish in reclined bound angle. Hands can either rest by your side, they might rest on the inner thighs, maybe on your chest and abdomen, whatever feels most passive to you. And this is the first neutral spine pose that we've had. So just taking a moment as the spine doesn't move, noticing any little effects of this practice on the low back, mid back. Maybe a feeling of just a little more space in the low back and the tissues and muscles. Or perhaps you're more noticing the mental side effects. Maybe things have slowed down a little bit up there. And if not, that's totally fine too. You don't need, a completely quiet mind to get the benefits of the yoga practice. And then after your next 2 or 3 breaths, extending your legs out long. And we'll take 2 or so minutes here in Shavasana. So take your Shavasana, even though it's a short practice. This is one of the most important poses in yoga, especially after a yin practice. Right? We don't want to rush out of a slow practice like that. We want to just take a moment, let everything set in, and then carry on with your day. So a couple quiet minutes here. So lie back and let everything go. And then the next couple breaths, unless you have more time and you're comfortable, feel free to stay. If you're right at that 20-minute mark for your time, we're about there. You can start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe take a full body stretch, reaching out long. Hug your knees in. You might give yourself one last little massage, rocking side to side. And then roll off to your side. In no rush, press yourself up. Thank you for practicing with me. It's really incredible what just a little time in a yin practice can do. So if you feel like, things are a little bit slower, whether it's, mentally or your back just feels good, try to keep coming back to this class. The more you practice yoga, the deeper the benefits get. If there are any classes you would like to see, any particular focuses, please let me know in the comments. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. It's a huge help to me. And hit the like button, comment if you liked the video. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and hope you feel great. Namaste. And I hope to see you next time. Have a great day.